Exactly. It literally lets you have a Storm Spirit in the game. When I see the Storm Spirit, I'm instantly like, okay, well, Puck is gonna have like a wild game, but now it's like it doesn't matter. If in this after the laning stage when they hit the sixes and they're suddenly like threatening each other, now it's like, well, Abaddon can just play near mid, and if Storm gets gone on, it doesn't matter. Oh god, that's really nice. They are lacking on stuns on the support duo. They're like incredibly weak on that regard, but it's kind of made up for in the fact that Storm has like jump pull and Sand King's gonna get a blink and be able to just keep stunning around.
What do you feel OB.Neon is lacking in their lineup so far?
Radiant
Team fight, like damage.
They're gonna double down on the
the
I
AM.
was gonna say, I'm not gonna say anything here.
I'm sorry, Mike is probably fuming right now.
He's
I
like,
mean, it's good though. It's
It
like
is.
better than last game.
Yeah, this is a real AM game. Last game it wasn't terrible, I think, as far as AM games goes, but this is like, I mean, Storm is probably number one, Deuce like number two as far as heroes going to play AM too. And even against two supports with no disables, like the kill threat on AM it's there, but it's not that strong.
okay, so mixed with how you saw it playing last game, and now it being in a better matchup, does it actually give you a lot of faith in Neon to be able to execute and do well this game?
The only thing I'm worried about is his lane, because I think Shadow Shaman is a hero that can feed really hard into Weaver Sand King, and Anti-Mage does not have any way to really protect him.
Okay.
That being said, Anti-Mage is generally a hero that people like to play as a carry into Sand King, so...
Yep. You know,
nice.
This is where they're going to pull a page out of the European playbook, run some old school tri-lanes. That's been all the rage in the European Dota right now, and AM is not a level dependent hero. You can very easily just tri-lane him if you want to. I don't think they will.
I mean, they could. That doesn't sound bad, because usually people like do a tri-lane and they haven't thought it through, and then the enemy brings their own tri-lane, and then theirs is stronger, and suddenly you're like, well, shit.
but Tuz Shaman, like in a tri-lane,
Yeah.
and AM's not terrible in a tri-lane. Like if he's got that blink chase potential. Like
I mean, they buffed his, like, if you get the amount of mana, like, he does a slowdown and everything. Like, I mean, Shadow Shaman, Tusk, Anti-Mage, that is a terrifying tri-lane. And you're laning against Sand King, Weaver, Abaddon. I think a bunch of those are really level dependent, and everything hurts, and I don't think it's very good.
Yeah.
Like, Sand King, especially in low levels, is pathetic.
well, Weaver, same thing. You really want to get 1 point in all three of your skills.
Yup. And Abaddon is just going to purge a stun, and that's kind of his contribution to the lane.
Yeah. I mean, Tusk and tag team, that's the spell, right? That's like the best tri-lane versus tri-lane spell in Dota. But
If this goes to tri-lane, what's a really good off-lane for Neon to pick up that can sustain a single lane?
I don't see the carry yet. That's the kind of important thing. He'll just pick depending on his matchup.
Okay.
Yeah. Still a big if, though. I as much as we can theory craft it, we've yet to see it in Southeast Asia. I don't think there's been a single tri-lane yet. So, at least for now, I don't think we're headed that direction.
Well, we do see
That's nice.
the carry. It's going to be PA. Does this tri-lane feel more or less plausible? And then any potential off lanes that you think can really hold themselves against the PA?
I think most offlane. I mean, theoretically, any like Tide Hunter type hero does great 1v1 versus PA. I think if you're Boom and you scout out a tri-lane, you're trying to put PA in the tri-lane and give Sand King the 1v1, because Sand King's just gonna do better in a 1v1, do more with the levels, do more with the free farm because he gets a fast blink. I don't think you actually want to prioritize your PA getting a solo lane there, but
Not mind. Is Pango still in the... Yeah, Pango's still in the pool. I would not mind seeing a Pango at all this game. I think he provides like even more lockdown for you. Makes it really hard for Boom to like fight into you in a team fight. Because you can't just purge everything with Abaddon. The more stunned, the merrier is kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I was gonna... forgot the Abaddon for a second. I was like, Underlord looked really good against Storm, PA with all the roots and stuff, and even Weaver, Sand King. But yeah, the Abaddon just probably makes that not multi-viable.
I would like some more damage, that's all. I think Neon are kind of lacking in damage.
Yeah, you have AM and like even and both your supports aren't packing a huge punch.
That's some damage. I'm down.
Okay,
I'm down.
That's a great hero versus PA. That's like the offlaner that does very well against these BKB cores. So you've got a clear rupture target in the PA this game.
Alrighty, I want to bring in Mike and John, and I want to ask Mike the question: the AM. Please share me your thoughts on this trash hero.
Game 1, they had 1 trash hero. And now they chose Bloodseeker and they have 2 trash heroes. I mean, this is not good at all. I feel like OB.Neon heard what I said and they just want to prove me wrong here on this. It's not going to happen. AM's a trash hero. Bloodseeker's even trashier hero. I don't like this draft at all from OB.Neon. And quite frankly, if you ask me what my favorite carry for Jackie is, I would answer PA. So I'm very confident Boom Esports has got this one locked in.
Alrighty, John, I want to know, the Bloodseeker, does this add to the circle strat? Is this what's going to get Neon through?
I mean, it gives them some good circles, right? And you've got the potential for Ags on Jing with Rupture, so you have a kickback. That's a nice line as well to play with the circles. I don't think it's enough. That's going to take a lot of farm for Jing. It's still a pretty decent lane. Bloodseeker is such a weird hero. Like, I don't know the build-up he's going to want, if it's going to be Maelstrom, maybe something like an Atos, but it just feels like, I don't know, I believe in Boom a little bit more despite Neon having an angle here.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to ask these two off-stream what they think, and after game number 2, we will see who is going to be the Vic. I can't even speak.
Bye,
You know
John,
what? You
I
guys
love
just take it. Bye.
Bye, John.
Wow. Why is it always johnxfire? Why does everyone love Johnx? What have I done for people to not say I love you to me? You know my own wife, Jonathan. Today, I had an argument with her because I said I love you and she didn't say it back. I've been heartbroken today. The casters in lobby didn't say hello to me. Sheepa says I love you. What have I done?
I'm not sure, Mike, but you've done something right, you know? Got Slayer backing you, so he has this expression of love for you. And Pityon expressed his love to you as he's showing us the lovely screen here as well. You've got your love, Mike, you know? It's grander levels of love. You've got it there as well, Mike.
I blew them a kiss too, John, and they ignored me completely. Production cut them off. They weren't going to say anything anyway. Thank you for that production, by the way, for cutting them off before I had to have my heart broken even more. And yeah, very upsetting day for me, John. Very, very upsetting.
I mean, you know, you've also got to deal with the AM, the Bloodseeker now, Mike. I mean, I feel the AM a little bit more this game. The Bloodseeker, that's got some synergy out. You know, the circle snap you mentioned, you've got Dreamcoil and Bloodright. Those are some pretty nice circles. Serpent Wards are a circle as well. So you have a lot of circles to play with here on Neon. I just don't know if it's enough. And Andrew, it can be a decent lane against PA, but Jackie can always sit back with the dagger. And you said this is one of Jackie's best heroes as well. You used to see it a lot on Motivate Trust, and even on his time in T1, he was using this a couple of times as well.
Oh, bot rune, Scam. May get first spotted if they can move in for the Shackles. Avatar mode, great body blocks out with the Orb drawn. And now with the tag team, they should have plenty of damage for this Abaddon kill. The Phonic Shield is there, but it won't matter. They'll turn around, they'll get first blood, just as Boom Esports did in game 1. OB.Neon, you know, as much as I disagree with their draft, John, they're off to a great start.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see some aggression out, especially with a Tusk pickup. You want to be able to work your lanes. That is still a triple bounty start for Boom. So it still feels a lot better for them despite feeding out first blood. And did go to Onryu, not onto Avatar mode, so you still give Yopaj a pretty good time on mid. Storm versus Puck lane, Mike, not as dominant for Storm. Kind of the same issues with the Invoker. You can't really run up, use the Remnant, use the Vortex by level 3, so it can be a little bit more passive, but you can farm pretty well here.
Look at the aggression right now into this Bloodseeker. John Jackie basically just needs one more dagger. He'll throw it out, one more right click will do it, and he's got it. Not something you really want to see here in this offlane already for OB.Neon, but like I told you, John, Jackie, he knows how to play this PA. You and I, we loved watching it back in the day, back when he was on Motivate Trust. We used to call him Jackie the Ripper, John, when he used to play this hero, and well, here we go again.
Yeah, it's just a really good start to pick up here for the side of Boom. Getting that initial farm up onto PA is always scary. Battle Fury timing as well. It feels like if the PA is allowed to just go Battle Fury after Orb Corrosion, it's a cheaper build-up compared to Vanguard. So you're not going to be diverted as much in comparison to the AM, which I think is the main concern here for Neon. And we'll have to see if Asta will complete the Vanguard this game. It looks like he is queuing it up. But you have to expect this lane to also be mildly aggressive from the side of Boomer. You know, once you get levels up in Scam, you can run them down with the Curse of Avernus, and that lane can get pretty dicey down bot if you're not careful.
Yeah, certainly so. So we should have a look at the other lanes as well. I mean, you've got mid lane, you've got your Page again against Avatar mode once again. So the Puck versus Storm matchup, you know, it seems like your Page having a great time already on this Storm. Do you feel like Avatar mode should have an outright advantage, or does it go the other way in this mid lane?
I don't think you have a big advantage either side. You both clear out the creep waves. You don't really give an angle for the Storm to play with a Vortex double overload. So level 3 is not a major spike for the Storm. At the same time, the puck can't apply too much harassment onto the Storm as well, and has to watch about getting up close for the overlords to come in, just like this, as Yopaj is laying in the damage. So mostly farming lane, Storm can be a lot more aggressive. The puck isn't as aggressive in that lane, but you should still end up finding a little bit of room here for Avatar mode to build up.
Oh, nice pick up there onto Skem bot lane. Enryu and Jing making the Tusk Bloodseeker combination work. And of course, with the tag team, you're always going to have some great kill potential there. And well, Jackie's playing PA, right? So you can't really, while you can hit people, there's not really too much kill threat if Skem is being chased down.
Yep, it's just not a lot you can contribute there. And you've got the levels up on Jing now. You can play with the Blood Right with the Ice Shards. We're taking a look at the top lane as well. Last lane we haven't really talked about. FBZ on the Sand King and Tim's on the Weaver, so a double bug lane up against Astus AM once more, and Bing on the Shadow Shaman. So there's a lot of ways to cut off the aggression here from Boom. It's still a really nice lane to hold for FBZ, although it doesn't feel good when your mana's out. But you can always play with a Caustic Finale. So you've still got a tool to clear out the creep wave, still got a tool to farm, but this is much more manageable for Asta. And you can already see that reflect. Again, he's having a great start here on the AM already.
Absolutely. I mean, Asta, he's a great AM player. As much as I hate the hero, John, he's doing a fantastic job. As bot lane once again, Skem gonna get taken down. Jing and Enryu just so effective in this offlane thus far. We'll find a secondary kill. So right now, OB.Neon just off to a brilliant start during this laning phase, and I'd say much better than game 1.
Yeah, they're getting the aggression they need. They're slowing down the side of Boom a lot more. And this kind of snowball start really benefits the heroes they have as well. Bloodseeker doesn't want to just sit back and farm. He wants to have a couple of items up. He wants to run around, pressure the map from the offlane. And he's already got the urn up. Going into the phase boots next, you've got a good amount of levels up on Jing. He's free to get pulls off. So you are kind of impacting this PA's farm. You can see that difference now between the AM and the PA. You are lagging a little bit behind on Jackie, as we do get a pause for lag here as well.
Very funny, Jonathan. Lagging behind. We get it. Nice one, Jonathan.
Thank you, Mike. I try.
Yeah, you've been so cocky ever since you've got those shades on. Ping. Talking about eggs for Tim's. We know what that's referring to.
Of course. Eggaholic. Nothing else. No other eggs, I'm sure. Abing is a very clean person. You gotta love that. Abing's just been on it in this series, you know, tipping and Ryu going with the all chat. And despite the results, he's still feeling it, man.
Yeah, certainly is, John. Certainly is. Nothing like a cold can of mate mate with your Eggaholic sandwich, by the way, John. You've never had it before?
Yeah.
Avatar mode, mid lane, copying a bit of damage there from Japoi, but is going to be just fine. Now, the aggression is certainly starting to come out here from this park as he's trying to get that harassment out. Yopaj really playing on the edge here, is forced to Fairy Fire up, but there'll be another orb in a few seconds. He wanted to go for the dive in, but he does not. He'll back off and play it safe, but well, the mid matchup, I'd say, John, is probably the most even one in this game.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's a lot more even than you'd expect, and we're also not seeing that emphasis on the supports to rotate in. Abaddon can't contribute as much in compared to the Treant in game 1. Weaver is around, so Tim's could Shikuchi about here.
They're going to try. There's a swarm out. Avatar going to try and back himself out with a very nice phase shift, but Yopaj, he'll go for the dive in. It's going to cost him his own life, but it won't matter. It's well worth it. He'll leave the puck on level 5, and Yopaj skyrocketing to about 6.5 in terms of levels. A very nice kill there for Boom Esports.
Really good start. Again, we're seeing that rotation out from Tim's pay off. He gets to soak mid for a bit, start to get some levels up. The most painful lane here for Boom. It has felt like FBZ's lane, but he's stabilized. You know, he's still up there in CS after the initial 2 levels. Once he picked up more on the Sandstorm, just sits back, farms up with a Soul Ring. So you are stabilizing on the off lane now. And the one thing now that we've got to see from Neon is some aggression coming out from Jing and Abing. But these supports are really good at rotations. They can catch people off guard. They've got a lot of control. Perhaps once they hit level 6 in Avatar mode, they could play around with that coil and get some movement out.
Look at that, Jonathan. Regen rune on Yopaj. That's a dream rune there for the Storm to get things started for this game number 2. The ward's being placed. The bang. The move in. Yopaj, he won't go for any kind of crazy dive quite yet. And certainly with the regen rune, though, you tend to just be able to escalate very, very fast on the Storm. And You just have constant potential across the map if there is ever a gank attempt or a fight to break out. So we'll have a look at top lane. Asta's being chased down now by FBZ. Tips were coming out towards FBZ earlier from Asta, but it does seem like the Sanking's having a great time. It's now a bang. Is going to get caught out. Like I said, John, if Yopaj wants to pop the regen, which he does, he'll be back up in no time. Even farming up the stacks now of the anti-mage.
Good find coming out from Boom, invading that jungle early, cutting off the catch-up potential here for Asta, which is still a ways off anyway. That Battle Fury is going to take some time. We see the same Vanguard build-up here for Asta. So it will come out eventually. I feel like that's still going to give a little bit more towards Jackie. I mean, again, Orb of Corrosion, just straight into Battle Fury. It's a lot faster than Vanguard into Battle Fury disassembly. And they were making moves bomb.
Yeah, Rupture's out on Jackie. They're going to try and move in onto that PA, but Yopaj has rotated just in the nick of time to try and fight back as the snowball is going to be there. Even an orb to come through from the puck as the Dream Coil has been dropped. Still the PA surviving. Will try and fight back. They finally take him down, but they'll lose Henry as Yopaj. He's going to keep going. Jing almost dropping, but not quite. Yopaj out of mana now. Is going to keep trying. Jing, he moved his way back in, but it is going to cost him. In the end, they do get the Phantom Assassin, but it does cost them 2 of their own. Both going the way of the Storm.
That's a pretty scary trade for Neon to give up. Sure, you're slowing down Jackie. He doesn't lose net worth from that exchange. And you're feeding the snowball of Boom, the momentum of Boom that we hear a lot of teams talk about. And we've all seen Yopaj, again, being very active. Triple null to start with. So he's got no mana issues at all, despite not having any bigger items here. He can just feel free to zip across, get the damage off, and just set up for the team. And he is buying that space out because we're seeing FBZ play a bit of a slower game, you know, building up into the blink first, not looking to run around with that epicenter. Jackie obviously just wants to farm as well. So a lot of that momentum will come from the Storm, and he's just securing that snowball now. Neon, I like the idea. They drag in Avatar mode, they tried to play with that Dream Coil, but they stayed really clumped up there, Mike. Those were 2 melee heroes up against the Storm. We saw the damage of the Overload coming out, the static remnants and those big AoEs. And they didn't have enough to kind of kite him around. They already used Rupture on the jump in, so they didn't have a way to stop Yopaj from just running around doing what he wants, and that's something Neon has to be careful about. Their own hold for the Storm is also not particularly the fastest or instantaneous outside of the Hex from Abeng, and he wasn't around for that fight.
Well, 5-5 so far, John. Definitely a better game here for OB.Neon thus far. Asta having a very good time on the AM so far as well. Definitely a much better start than last game. Currently 2nd, or rather 3rd in net worth now, but it's kind of besides the point. I think this time he should have a pretty good lead against Jackie throughout this game, and well, that might give him the opportunity to actually kind of be able to fight this game. As last game, you know, he just didn't get to that stage where you're capable of fighting. And speaking of Asta, while we're on the topic, John, I guess he's got to kind of go the MKB route this game, right? Or is there something else he could pick up?
Nah, it definitely feels like an MKB game. You do want to focus in onto that PA. It's going to be a massive issue. They are picking moves on bot. Heavy commitment here from Neon.
And even heavier for Boom Esports as they move back in onto Enryu, but the Shackles and Bloodright are going to be out on the Storm. And Serpent's even being dropped. Yopaj, though, he's still alive and will zip away. Still zipping around. He'll go back in on a bang. He is not afraid at all. A double kill out for the Storm once again. They wipe out 3. The only positive right now for OB.Neon is the fact that Asta is still hitting creeps.
You're buying space for the AM, but again, coming at the cost of enabling the snowball here of Boom to build up, and even giving Jackie some AoE gold there. That Battle Fury timing you're talking about head-to-head, it does still seem like Jackie's going to hit it slightly earlier than Asta, although it should line up fairly well. But with the disassembly that can come true from the AM, the issue is the itemization. You talked about it. You pointed out that MKB that you might want to build up on the AM. If the PA sees no MKB on the AM, you know, you hit level 20, you go for the Blur Evasion, she is not going to die. Your Bloodseeker can't right-click, your Puck's going to have to put in the work with magic damage, Shackled's not going to scare, Hex is not going to scare, and that's going to be a massive problem. So it's going to take a lot longer for Asta to build that item up. You know, like he's still going to need the Manta style for defense and some stats into the MKB. It's a very prolonged process, and that's time where Boom can just simply run around with Yopaj, as they have been. The build-up here for Enryu, we were talking about that Bloodseeker as well, Mike. He is going for the ATOS, right? So nothing too ridiculous. He's not going for a farmy build with a Maelstrom. He is going for control. That could be the way they lock in the Storm, as Sheepo pointed out. You don't want to build defensive items on the Storm like a Eul's early on. Yopaj is building up to a BKB, but that's coming after the Orchid, so way off. Still ways off until that's up, and that ATOS timing could be what Neon look to play around with once that's up.
Here we go again, Boom Esports. Moving around through that river, but in fact, they are not going to try and infiltrate that dire jungle yet. OB.Neon again, more than happy to just keep protecting Asta, buy him that time. Get that early Battle Fury timing up and try to make work with that. Tims may get caught. A bang is there with a great Hex out into a Shackles. Asta surely has enough, but no, apparently not. Apparently not, John. It is anti-mage.
Yeah, it's not quite enough burst, unfortunate there. Tim's going to be feeling pretty good, wasting a massive spell, and that could lead to a collapse.
Yeah, a bang. He'll drop the wards. He'll try his best to turn something around as FBZ. Just going to channel the epicenter, just trying to get something done, but it's a great trade for OB.Neon. They'll get the offlane tanking, and they'll look for more now. Avatar mode has joined in with the Dream Coil available, but he'll chase down the Storm. Instead, the rest will try to catch out Tims on this Weaver, but he's going to be fine. Just keep secuching towards the north. So I dare say that is a positive trade here for OB.Neon.
That's a pretty good kill to pick up, but the side of Boom aren't really retreating. They pop the Arcane on Yopaj. They might look to commit onto that top tier 1, knowing that the wards are down for the defense as well. And that is going to open up more space for the PA. And you look at the movement on the map, Mike, they are applying that aggression onto Asta, whereas now Jackie's allowed to farm bot. The AM is starting to build up slightly more, but Jackie's also not too far off from the Battle Fury, so your PA's timing's still pretty lined up. Neon's still clumped up around the top, though. Could look to try and catch some people off guard here.
Let's see if they can. Still going to blink right into Tims, but he's got no way of locking down the AM. Now, there is going to be a 3-man smoke here from Boom, though. Yopaj, he'll lead the way along with FBZ. That dire jungle they go. Jing will be around to try and break any smoke attempt, but they are going to see Asta very soon, and they're looking for an epicenter into a burrow strike, and it looks like this anti-mage has been caught out with the vortex, but it's not enough yet. Asta is able to blink away, but Yopaj is still on the chase and will be able to finish off the job. No problem. Even with just the level 1 vortex, they just have the zip forward anyway. You just need to guess where the AM went. As Tims play with fire here with Avatar mode, but just trying to bait in for FBZ to land that stun. It's going to be unable to get it, but they'll move into that mid-tier 1 tower.
Not the quickest process for the push. And, the lineup is not particularly the fastest pushing lineup. They could play around with Chris of Avernus debuff, but there is enough time for Neon to come back. And I'm surprised Neon backed off there. They planted the wards, right? Like, they had the Dream Coil already. They didn't use it in the initial fight. And instead, they walked back towards their jungle, have Asta farm, leaving that opening for Boom to use. And Boom are smoked up again. Yopaj, FBZ, they're just set to fight.
They are. Smoke is there from OB.Neon, though, and they might catch out FBZ and Yopaj, and this would be a great pickup if they could catch both of them, or at least the Storm. FBZ might be able to break the smoke, but a long wraparound here from Jing, who does break it on himself. FBZ, though, quick blink away, still the chase continues. Avatar mode is there with the Dream Coil, and Sentry is placed down into the Serpent Wards, and they should have plenty of damage, but now the turnaround is here. Yopaj is in again, onto a bang, onto Avatar mode. He'll just do it himself. Unstoppable here for the Storm as he's got Enryu on the Bloodseeker, and that'll be a 3-for-1. In fact, the chase is on for Tims. He'll chase down Jing here on this Tusk. See if he can set up for another. He'll have to eventually let the Tusk go. So they find the Sand King, John, but it's not worth losing 3v heroes like that, that's for sure.
No, it's definitely not. And again, Yopaj is just finding all these kills as well. Like, he's just working these counterfights all by himself, knowing that once they commit onto one hero with the Shackles Hex, there's nothing left to stop that Storm. And they still don't have the full ATOS up on Neon. I think that's the one timing they need on this dire side. They need that control. They need to play with the Bloodright root and just try to hammer in onto Yopaj. He's very vulnerable once that's up. Again, BKB still a long ways off for the Storm. No Eul's build up, nothing defensive in between. So there's a big window here for Neon once the ATOS is up. And we have to see them play around that. We have to see them give Enryu that little gold he needs to get that done. and, you know, keep stalling out for the AM. I mean, the Battle Fury timing is just not lined up. Jackie's had, what, 2-minute lead now on his Battle Fury? He's going for the BKB next. He knows what he has to do. He knows he's super strong, he's super tanky, would blur up from the right clicks. So with the BKB up, it takes away a lot of damage to Puck, the Shadow Shaman, the Bloodseeker want to do, and you're kind of free to just run around and try to crit down some of these squishier targets.
Which is something you thought OB.Neon would be trying to do with their own draft, but it just doesn't feel like they've had the real openings they've been looking for, and now maybe they could try to force the fight top lane, but immediately they've caught out a Beng. That's so much control gone from that Shaman, and it doesn't feel like they can actually fight without him. They need a Beng to try and deal with Yopaj.
Yeah, he's their best hold, and it's not just that, like, they need farm on a Beng as well. Like, this is a pause 5 Shaman. Stark contrast to Tim's game 1, Mike. You're not getting that fast Blink, you're not getting that fast Shadow Blade. You know, it's a slower process, and it makes it a lot harder for the Shadow Shaman to play his game. And there's so much pressure to try to catch Yopaj, but he's never first in. It tends to be Boom baiting in with FBZ or having Jackie be up front or Scam just dying, and then they jump in afterwards, leaving very few angles for the Shadow Shaman to play reactive. So it's a lot trickier for Neon to play the way they want to. 15-7 now, Mike. 7k lead for Boom. Jackie #1 in that word. And that 2 minutes on the Battle Fury just worked out a lot better for the PA. Like, she's just definitely ahead, and the BKB is going to be up soon.
Sorry about that, John. A bit of a close call there for Asta, but he's controlling himself. Love myself a neutral kill. The spot lane. Oh, they've got the Bloodseeker again. This time, though, they're going to try and fight back, but there's no fighting. In Rod of Atos or not, Yopaj with the double damage is just pushing way too far ahead. With the Orchid and 3 nulls, he does whatever the hell he wants. Nobody's stopping him.
Asta?
Gotta be careful, Asta. Blink away. The Swarm, though, is gonna land, but I highly doubt they go for a dive that deep. I think Boom are very happy with the way this game's gone. In fact, mid lane now, they've even got Avatar. You know in those pub games, John, when you have a Smurf and he plays Storm? That's what it's kind of looking like right now.
That it does. Yopaj just doing a lot of work on the map with the Orchid. There's nothing defensive here from our Puck as well. So do you have another lag call this time from Boom, as is classic for both teams based in the Philippines, Mike. You have to respect that our internet here is really not good.
It isn't, Jonathan, but, you know, it's tradition. We've got to get a few Merienda pauses in while we can. Speaking of Merienda, John, I never get to ask you this during the DPC, but have you had any Merienda today?
Oh, you know, I had a great time. You know, we finished our podcast. I went to my mom and sister. I'm like, let's order some Merienda. So we ordered some halo halo, Mike. I didn't send the pics, but some halo halo. It's a really warm day. You've seen everyone tweeting, you know, how hot it is. Carl tweeted, Sophie was tweeting. It's hot here. So we got some halo halo to relieve ourselves. Very nice, very sweet, very cool. And it was nice, Mike. I had a good time. We had some shawmai rice as well, so really good times. Did you have anything good, Mike?
Not really, John. Not really. Unfortunately, like I said, Jonathan, the wife was not too happy with me today for some reason, so I did not get any Merienda. And there you go. I guess I'm going to get some fast food tonight after this one. Sadly. She's all right now. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. She's all right. She'll be fine. Don't feel sorry for poor old MLP. Who never gets told that anyone loves him. Unless you want to do it right now, John.
I love you, Mike. There you go. Does that make you feel better? I love you. Does that sound sincere enough? I'm glad. Okay. I was trying to be sincere. That implies that I'm not sincere. Okay. I am sincere. I am sincere, Mike. You know, I mean it. As we do have to go ahead. Everyone's reconnected. Oh. Very good news. So we're back into the game, and Asta's in a pretty compromised spot here if he's not careful.
Absolutely he is, but he'll be able to blink away, no problem. Towards the south, though, I can't say the same for a Beng. He's gone. Enryu, currently being just chased down by Tims, and even he has a Rod of Atos up. Though at least Rupture up the Weaver, but he's got time-lapse available. He's just patiently waiting. Jing will move in. Snowball is there. Bloodright, no, it's not going to matter. Time-lapse is out, and FBZ will just chase down the Bloodseeker. Complete domination from Boom Esports this far.
Yep. 21-7. 3 times the kills here onto Boom, 10k net worth lead. They will line up for Roche. They've got the damage with Jackie, and they don't have Desolator ending, so it's not ridiculously fast. You do have the bugs, so there's still some minus armor. There's still the Curse of Avernus to give you some boosted attack speed. And Neon have no good angles in. They don't have wards around the Roche pit. They could try to play with her puck. There's no blink for Avatar mode to really feel comfy and just initiating. And that's going to lead to secondary life for Jackie. So our PA, really good timing. BKB's up as Yopash just kills everyone across the map.
Yeah, your pal's just casually smurfing. You know, it's looked down upon, but what are you gonna do? Are you gonna argue against it? Weaver? They're onto Tim's at least, and they will blow him up. Asta's not gonna play around any longer. Just pops the Mana Void, gets the job done. Still trying to get that farm up on that AM, and it's still doing a decent job of it. Like, considering how the game state's gone, this AM is keeping up quite nicely.
Yep, he's number 3 net worth. Not a bad spot at all. It's just everyone else is lagging behind for that, although.
Well, here we go again. He'll jump in by himself, but a snowball is going to be there back in onto the neutrals, or no, it was the storm. Still Jackie. Jackie's going to have a jump in now by himself. Jing, he'll be gone. Bloodride is there. Jackie also ruptured up. Will just stand his ground as now Enryu will be chased down. Vortex will catch him out, and it seems like they've got another. Jackie will take care of it.
You give the kill away to Jackie as well. I think Yopash understanding, accelerating Jackie's timing to the Deso is going to give them a massive opening. And they're starting to ramp up here on Boom. Like, you're at the point where the PA is ready to fight, is ready to join in. And with the BKB, it's very durable up front. You're not going to see any sort of MKBs coming out soon. The magic damage from the puck might be enough, but again, with the BKB to protect, and with the Abaddon standing behind you as well, it's not the easiest target to go for. So, Neon, they've got to find something to play with. And we expected it to be this Ato's timing on Unryu. It's just not enough. Maybe once they have something defensive in Avatar mode, I mean, he does have his blink up now in the puck. So you do have some initiation here, but they need to find an angle, and I think the vision game is also just not working in Neon's favor, and we saw that in Game 1 as well. They're just not able to play with knowing where Boom's at and trying to catch them off guard. They have no wards up, and Boom are just constantly running around with these smokes unfounded by the side of Neon every single time.
Yeah. OB.Neon still doing a great job of just kind of, you know, playing around Boom Esports, just moving away, not forcing any fights. TP away across the map, keeping that farm up on Asta. Second in net worth right now, still behind Jackie, but again, it's all on him this game. They found another mid lane. They run right into Jing. They will buy some time with the snowball, but it's only so much. Can they try to force a fight though? Jackie may get silenced here, but they've already got the tusk down, and it doesn't seem like OB.Neon feel confident.
No, it's not a comfy fight. You kind of want the tusk with the saves. You've got the blink up on Jing, so the snowball's a very big part of just holding these fights. Ooh.
Nice attempt from FBZ, but off the mark. Avatar mode. Quick hands there to be able to get himself out. Still, it seems like the T2 mid tower is just free pickings right now as Jackie just stands right behind, or rather in front of his team, and just takes it. OB.Neon wrapping around, but it seems like they just want to avoid it. In fact, FBZ, he's going to find the puck and takes him down so easily. So Avatar mode, just nothing he can do. After that stun does land, and now in they go for more. Asta, gonna try and blink away, but which way do you blink? You'll go towards the left, but you blink right into the storm. His counter spell is gonna be perfectly timed, but it may not matter as they get the vortex into the burrow strike. Tips her out from Tim's. 13k net worth advantage now, and to be fair to Asta John, he really had no good place to blink to.
No, it's a roughie. They
GG.
Yeah, they called. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Mike, you know, you said it from draft.
Right.
You said it from draft, right? You're not gonna say it. You're not gonna say it. You're vindicated. All right. So
I knew I was right, John.
Neon, they went back to the AM. They took up the Bloodseeker. Mike didn't like those heroes. You know what, Mike? You're the real analyst here. You know what's going on. You know what's good and what's not, and you can see how happy. Look at Zach. Look at Zach Alphon, Lane the manager, so happy dancing around. It's a good day for Boom. Love to see that. You know. He's confident. You know, Kyle cops it onto him as well. You can see Skem's a lot more serious. Maybe feeling like that game should have been a lot cleaner coming out from Boom. Neon were finding like a couple of opportunities. They had some aggression lane. Again, there was an idea behind this draft as well, right? Like you didn't have the best way of catching out an AM on paper. And you did have a lot of synergy with, say, Dream Coil and Bloodright, and spell amp up with a Blood Rage. You could run around Rupture onto the PA, as Shifu pointed out. Just not enough. I think the laning presence wasn't strong enough. There was some mid-game timing that the Heroes of Neon needed a lot more farm, especially on the AM. And again, when they hit that 8 was timing at Enryu, they just couldn't find an angle to play with. So Boom just managed to run them down with all those great counter fights coming out from Yopaj.
Yeah, absolutely. And, props to OB.Neon, that they tried their best. It's the hardest team in SCA to beat right now. So, getting 2-0'd, nothing to be ashamed of here against Boom Esports. And with that, Jonathan, I believe we are going to head off to a very short break shortly. But before we do, love you all in the chat, love all you viewers, love you, johnxfire, and I especially love our lovely panel, which will be back right after this very short break.
Boom never failed to show up, and they take the series against Neon in a 2-0 fashion. And, before we get into the analysis, I just want to say I loved that cast from the one person we love, Mike.
John.
Wait, what?
Oh.
It was definitely Mike.
It was definitely John.
Well, you know what? I guess we just beg to differ. And
You know what? How about we just agree for both of them?
Yeah.
John and Mike.
Yeah,
Good
great
job.
duo. We love you guys. Sharing the love around there. But jumping in to the breakdown of game number 2, Mike did bring up the whole point about the AM, the Bloodseeker. Neon then had 2 trash heroes on their team. It kind of did really go that way, I would say. Wouldn't you agree, God?
Yeah, I feel like Neon's strength when they really took games off, took a game off Fnatic and pushed it, to 3 kind of closest games. Were playing more aggressive Dota, and then they go AM 2 games in a row. Game 1 with the Storm, game 2 with the Bloodseeker. Just feel like neither game did they have that kind of Neon draft that worked for them in the past. So definitely not a fan with how the way they forced AM 2 games in a row. I think it's fine to try it once, go for a greedy kind of 4-protect 1, but 2 games, no, you got to try and match Boom's tempo.
The hell, guys? You literally said, "Oh, it's such a good AM game" when they picked it.
Sure,
you could pick
it was a good AM game.
On paper, Neon could
be
play it that way. On paper, it looks good, but it doesn't mean that Neon could execute it.
I didn't feel like they learn much going down with they're probably gonna walk away we didn't really get out drafted. We got outplayed a bit. Maybe this game, I think, with the Bloodseeker.
I just didn't like the Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
Would have liked something else.
It is a little bit of a case of stubbornness, it feels sometimes I'm getting from the Southeast Asia teams. When they pick something, it doesn't work. They're like, no, next time it definitely will. This AM is one of those cases. But on the other side, Boom, right? They were really good. They looked quite clean. It's the Boom we are used to seeing. But also, they were able to just keep playing and stay on top of the lead that they already had.
Or they did do that. I was actually really impressed with it. Obviously, something that most pro teams will do, especially tier 1 teams, when you play on the other side of the map, you usually leave a ward in your own jungle so that you can scout enemy movement there, because naturally the way the map works is you move to one side of the map, the enemy swings to the other. That's why Radiant has such a good advantage, because the Roshan is in your part of the map when you play it into your triangle and enemy jungle. That's just the natural way teams move. Anyway, Boom left so many wards in their jungle, and it wasn't even kind of deeper in their jungle, towards their base. It was very much up on the cliffs and towards the lane, the bot lane of Neon's map. They had a ward there as well, and it was all to scout exactly where Anti-Mage was going and where they were moving, because it was the only place they could play. Boom were dominating. They were able to take the enemy's jungle and play on where they wanted on the map. So we saw it at the very end when they called GG. They saw Anti-Mage moving exactly where they on all their wards in his jungle. Then they came and ganked him, killed him, forced that GG, easy clap. Honestly, it's really nice use of wards and movement on the map.
OB.Neon, they still showed up today, right? They still did the best they can. Boom are just sitting up there on top. They're looking amazing. But what do you take from this if you're Neon, and how are you going to apply it to the future series to come?
They did show up. They were in the lobby. That is true. That's factual.
They definitely clicked on some heroes.
No. I actually think they played all right. Particularly game 1, I think, was the more impressive game that they can maybe look back on a bit more. Even with the kind of greedier draft with the Storm as well as AM. They made some good moves. I know Sheepy really liked the kind of game-ending fight where they just had this nice smoke wraparound, got on top of the backline. So I think for Neon, there's stuff to take from this and feel like, we did such and such all right, but we got to work on some of maybe more fundamental stuff.
Well, we can hopefully get a little bit more information from the winners. We are going to be joined by Tim's for the winner interview. Whoa! Tim, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the win. How is the team feeling?
Hello, thank you. The team is good.
Are you guys really impressed with your performance today?
Actually, yeah, because in the scrims we are doing not good.
Is this a nice, I guess, refreshing sort of thing to be able to come in and win those 2 games?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You mentioned things aren't going so well in the scrims, and obviously your last series you dropped a game to Polaris. I'm curious because Boom as a team has been crushing every tournament previous to this. You won a big international LAN. What do you feel like is not working right now for you as a team if you're saying things are not going perfectly, even though you did get the win today?
I would say in the scrim we are trying a lot, like heroes, and we are doing some like bad calls, so we really need to improve on that.
Alright, so I won't ask you to tell us what heroes are working for you, but are there any heroes you've tried in scrims that you guys are like, man, this is just total shit, like, we're never gonna play this?
I think the techies cannot play it.
Where's your Mirana been too? You're like the best Mirana in C.
I think Moshi is hiding it.
Okay.
It's up to Moshi what hero we will play.
Okay.
So,
Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations again on the win.
okay, thank you guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye-bye.
It's so cute when all 4 of us are waving. I just love it. Any last thoughts that you guys want to share on that series? Anything that you learnt from the Tim's interview?
The Tim's interview, he's got a very cute smile.
Mushi is doing stuff behind scenes.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
It's interesting because it's like it kind of reflects what we were saying, which is like Boom actually are not in the best form right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're getting the job done. And I think that's always a sign for these top teams is like, hey, maybe they haven't figured out the patch yet, figure out what heroes they want to play, but you're still getting the wins against the teams you need to beat, and hopefully they can, ramp it up because tougher competition further down the road.
And like we say, every series matters. As we have a look at these standings, you can definitely take note of just how much they do matter. A lot of teams having won 2 series. T1, SMG, Boom, all tied. Don't mind Sheep just laughing off in the corner doing nothing. And Execration down there not having picked up a series at all.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me really, having seen everyone's play so far now. Like, we've seen.
So this definitely doesn't surprise you at all, the standings?
Not entirely. I mean, I think it's very nice of SMG to get the win here against Polaris today. I think that was probably the most surprising thing that happened. I was really... I mean,
that was
I
a hype series. That was like some of the best games, best series probably the best series we've had so far.
Yeah, 100%, really good games. And it was like, that was what I was curious about. I was like, can Polaris like keep up this level? Because they 2-0'd T1. That was really surprising. Can they do it against like SMG, who people generally sort of considered on a like slightly lower level than T1? And it looks like people were learning and catching on. So maybe Polaris maybe not they're gonna they're maybe not gonna go to the major. So yeah. It's. Whew.
I think there's kind of like a clear bottom 3 forming with the Neon, NGX, and Execration. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. Looks rough for Execration. Maybe it's going to be more the other 2 teams battling for 6th place.
Well, I'm glad you brought them up because we are going to be seeing them play tomorrow. They're going up against T1 in our final series, and the one we'll be covering before that is the Division 2 match. It's going to be TNC up against Talon.
Yo, I'm actually excited to cover that one. Let's go!
Yeah, it's super high. I mean, Talon have been looking absolutely amazing, but on top of that, TNC, they fell to Division 1 after last tour, so it's going to be interesting to see what changes they've made and how they do face up against Talon.
I think I wasn't that impressed with TNC the last time we covered them, so I'm kind of expecting Talon to massacre them. However, if they don't massacre them, that will be a good fun game to watch.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to say anything. All I am going to say is you definitely should join us for that game. It's going to be a very hype second day of week 3 for the Southeast Asia Dota. But until then, that is going to be it from all of us